Namaste. I'd like to speak about reality. And in this reality, what is really real? Actually real. Because reality is so confusing, ever changing from this into that it's very difficult to pinpoint as to what reality is or what is the nature of reality. Science explains reality in two aspects: the subjective reality and the objective reality. The subjective reality is from the mind, from its feelings and opinions, like the beauty of a flower, the fragrance of a flower, which is inwardly, which is subjective in the mind, which differs from one to another. And objective reality as that which is factual, which is observable, which is measurable, which is comprehensible by all. And in this manner, science gradually started clarifying when it went deeper and deeper into the subatomic particle of matter, deeper from the molecules to the atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, quarks, etc. And what they discovered was, in the end, what they observed, all that exists are just waves and particles of a flow, of a movement, which they referred to as energy. And classical physics modified itself into quantum mechanics, quantum physics. Nowadays we hear a lot about quantum mechanics and quantum physics. Coming to this realization by most scientists that all that exists is energy. Metaphysics, on the other hand, from prehistoric times, especially in the East, had been claiming and declaring the same. All that exists is Brahman, which today we refer to Brahman as the spirit. Of course, spirit has many other meanings, from alcohol, demons, fairies to whatnot, but Brahmanism, and since the East had philosophies coming from various parts of Asia, in which the oldest came from India, Brahmanism gradually changed into spiritualism. All that exists, according to science, as energy, and to the East, or Brahmanism as the spirit, or the prana, or the Brahman. Meaning, whatever we see from our eyes or from our senses, sense of perception, is an optical illusion. The body and mind basically is condensed energy vibrating at a certain frequency. So all forms of matter are vibrating energies in different frequencies. And it turned out to be an optical illusion. And we keep on changing. And reality keeps on changing. If reality keeps on changing, it becomes very frivolous. Moreover, say when you see through a telescope or through a microscope and you observe something through your eyes, is that real? No. Why? Because like the telescope is an instrument having lens, same is the case with eyes. That also has a lens. So the eyes is seeing, the image is falling on the retina, and the nerves are picking up those sensations. So neither the telescope can see nor the eyes can see on its own. There is something else besides the body and the mind which sees. When the mind observes, it sees. And when it is seen, it is not thinking. It is beyond the mind, meaning beyond the cognitive mind, beyond the tangible mind. There is something intangible which the metaphysics or the subject of spiritualism from the East claim that the highest attribute of energy is that of being aware. Is that of being aware. The whole universe unfolds not just because you're observing it through a telescope, or the subatomic particles unravels, not because you're seeing through your eyes, no. You decipher and determine what you see only after you become aware. So awareness is the highest attribute of energy which is present in all living creatures. It is the one and only existent which makes all other existences possible. If a plant is not aware, or if the animal is not aware, or if the mind is not aware, there is no life. There is no life. So awareness is of prime importance, because only after you are aware that the mind becomes conscious. Awareness is isolated from the mind because it has got no connection with the thinking mind. It simply makes the mind aware. When it watches and witnesses the outside as well as the inside, you can't. And for this reason, human beings have the highest intensity of awareness. Plant is aware, animal is aware, but the human being is aware not only of the external but also of the internal. It is aware of its own awareness, past awareness. It is aware of its own thoughts. It is aware of its own consciousness. It is aware of everything what is happening inside. Whether you truthfully agree to your own awareness of what you are seeing inside or not is your prerogative. But the awareness is seen in an absolute wholesome manner. So the subject of spiritualism had a little different aspect of reality, the absolute reality and the relative reality. The absolute reality is in wholesomeness, it's independent, it's isolated from the mind, and it does not require any support. It is changeless, it is formless, it is limitless, it is spaceless, it is timeless, without any causation, and it is that universal energy, free-flowing universal energy. The highest attribute which they referred to as Para-Brahman, Par-Atma, Parameshwar, that which is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent in every single atom, molecule, waves of energy. This awareness is there. And it is the ultimate reality, the ultimate existence. It is the substratum of all that exists. And whatever further exists is superimposed on this, which appears and disappears, like the way human beings, we appear and disappear through our birth and death. Likewise, all existences that you see around in the universe appear and disappear on the substratum of this universal energy, which in its highest attribute is aware. Is aware. It's non-dual. Non-dual does not mean on its own. Non-dual means it contains everything. It contains everything. And exhibits and expresses everything. So, it means there is no such thing as unreal. Nothing is unreal. There's only real, and the other is illusion. Illusion means what seems to be real is not real. An optical illusion by the sense perception in relativity, presuming it to be real. It's a mid-reality. Deep down, below this mid-reality, it is superimposed on its substratum of the absolute ultimate reality from which it emerges and goes back. And goes back into it. So, the subjective reality in spiritualism is awareness, and the objective reality is its field of energy, consciousness. There's a force and field relationship. There's a subject-object relationship. When the universal energy penetrates or enters into the mind, it gets individualized. The spirit of total awareness, the absolute energy, when it enters into the mind, it remains isolated, it remains separate, but is contained in an individual mind, and that section is referred to as the soul. Soul is an individual capacity of holding the absolute aware energy in the unconscious level of the mind, where there is total silence, where there is no thinking. Thinking emerges later. Once the soul, after observation, makes the mind aware, the mind goes into thinking through its sense perception, becomes conscious out of that awareness, and chooses, experiences, infers, realizes on the object being observed. So observation is the aware energy, observer is the soul, observing is the mind, and observed is the object being observed. So now let's come down to what is really real. So what I said earlier, you are an I-less state, I-less state of beingness. You are a state of beingness. Being is temporary. Becoming is your consciousness. Beingness is that awareness which is the essence of perception. It is the ground of your being, it is the core of your being in the formless state of beingness, which permits everything, which activates the mind, which makes the mind alive. Otherwise the mind is dead meat, otherwise the mind is nothing. It is simply nothing. It is the beingness which permits you to observe the universe. Otherwise you would just be seeing like a telescope without knowing what it is. It is the culmination of your past, present and future awareness which combines with the suffix of ess in the form of awareness, this aware energy, individualized, intensifies as per your conviction, as per your determination, as per your centering, single-pointedness, focused onto something, and you become more and more aware through that alert mind. So, all that exists is possible only because of awareness. It is only after you become aware that you become conscious, and this conscious, when it sums up, it brings forth your individuality, your uniqueness, for all to remember when you are here as well as when you are not here. But it's that primordial energy which initiates everything. It is that beingness. You are that. You are that beingness. The being is what you are. Beingness is who you are. And the body is revealing how you are. Consciousness in your mind reflects what you are. And that observation, that witness which you have, which sees, which is there as a triad between the mind and the body, in the form of a triangle right at the top, in the center, is that awareness which is watching your body and mind, which makes life possible. And that what is really real. Thank you.